All right, another beautiful Sunday evening is here, and today is day number 18 in the month of January 2026. Good evening, folks, and welcome to Iron Port here on Metropolitan Television. Iron Port is proudly brought to you by the Ghana Revenue Authority, GWEL PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, MPS, and indeed Phoenix Insurance. The show is proudly powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority-GPHA, and our media partner is the Business and Financial Times, the BNFT. Now, if you want to know all that happened here on the show tonight, make a date and grab the Thursday edition of the BNFT, and you'll be able to read all that happened here on the show. Tonight, we are streaming live on our social media pages. On Facebook, we are live at Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Still on Facebook, we are live at Port of Tema. And on YouTube, we are streaming live at Iron Port. We shall be getting interactive with you as usual. So all you have to do is sit back, relax, grab your phones, and send us your messages and comments ahead via our dedicated WhatsApp line, which is right here on your screen, 0538 037353. 0538 037353. When the time is ripe and I pick signals from the production team, we shall activate the phone lines for you to call in and contribute to the discussion. My name is Kennedy Mona. We are going for a quick break. When we return, we'll continue the show. Please stay with us.
Good energy brings you quality choices with Goil Super XP. Available in many Goil stations nationwide. It is fortified with special additives that help your engine perform better and use less fuel. Branch into a Goil station today and energize your ride with Goil Super XP, compatible with most vehicles. Goil Super XP, Wufilia, huh? Wubefeel. Goil, good energy. Yeah.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water. Or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Welcome to today's edition of Serene Insurance Business News. We present to you Serena. You're right. You can complete an entire insurance process for the purchase of any motor and other insurance products, from onboarding to issuing a motor insurance sticker and policy certificate, all on WhatsApp in less than 10 minutes. Serena is simple to use and it prioritizes user ease and flexibility. You can either use voice notes or text to effortlessly issue your instant policy, cross-platform renewals, claims, and also process your payments through mobile money, Visa, and MasterCard. To engage Serena, just search for Serena Insurance on all social media handles and scan the Serena barcode or save her number 0500 517 114 and start chatting her on WhatsApp immediately. There you have it. Serena is not just a tool, it's an innovation by Serene Insurance designed to redefine how motor and travel insurance are accessed and managed. Speed, convenience, and reliability.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
At Phoenix Insurance, we make the unpredictable predictable and the uncertain certain with our range of products, including motor insurance, fire insurance, engineering insurance, marine insurance, accident insurances, and all types of bonds. We have you covered. We also support you with risk management advice to enable you stay focused on your business. Take a policy with Phoenix Insurance today. We help you rise from adversity stronger and more secure. Contact us on 0302 246319 or 0302 246644 or any of our branches, agencies, and brokers spread across the nation. You can as well connect with us on our WhatsApp chatbot. Efiba is waiting to assist you. Make the future predictable with Phoenix Insurance. Phoenix Insurance, a delightful service experience delivered with wisdom.
You're welcome back. It's now time for us to take a look at happenings in the port and shipping industry over the last week by way of local news. Please enjoy.
The Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, has assured leaders of the country's major road transport unions that the John Mahama-led government will urgently move to address worsening road congestion, shortages in public transport vehicles, and operational challenges within Ghana's urban transport system. The Vice President was speaking at a stakeholder meeting held at the Ministry of Transport with leadership of the nation's transport unions. Representing President John Dramani Mahama, who is currently out of the jurisdiction, Professor Opoku-Agyeman outlined medium-term interventions, including the procurement of high-occupancy buses, the rehabilitation of broken-down vehicles, and the construction of key road linkages to ease pressure on major transport corridors.
We are therefore taking steps to improve the public transport system, not only by retooling, but also, of the state services, but especially on the private sector too. And I hope that answers your concern about the support that you need.
She noted that an efficient transport system is critical not only to commuter welfare, but also to Ghana's trade and logistics chain.
Fellow countrymen and women, we want them to be aware that government is not blind to the situation, that we have not seen that we don't care, we think it's somebody's problem, it's everybody's problem. That is why I started by saying that we need to team up to find the solutions. We believe that the problems have solutions.
Minister for Transport Joseph Boukari-Nipe reaffirmed government's commitment to retooling the sector, describing transport reform as a priority for national development.
Good news is that government is willing, government is prepared to retool our transport companies like the Intercity, STC, the Metro Mass Transit Limited, and Ayalolo under the Ministry of Local Government. We know we had difficult times, but having the backing of Her Excellency and the President of the land, very soon we will see some renewal of fleets in our agencies.
The Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Ahmed Ibrahim, called for unified stakeholder action to fast-track the planned interventions.
You see that a sitting Vice President has visited us. It tells you how sensitive the matter is and how we want to help you. So we may not want to blame you, but bear with us that we are in crisis. Don't let us be giving excuses. And don't let us be shaking responsibilities and be shifting blames. That it is you, it is me, you are doing this, I'm doing this. There's a problem. The President has identified it. Let's support government to function.
Transport unions represented at the meeting included the Ghana Private Road Transport Union, Ghana Road Transport Coordinating Council, Concerned Drivers Association of Ghana, Ghana Committed Drivers Association, Ghana National Cargo Transport Association, and the Joint Association of Port Transport Unions. The Vice President later rounded off her engagements with a working visit to Metro Mass Transit Limited and the Ayalolo Bus Terminal, where she interacted with management and frontline staff of the state-owned public transport agencies. A combined team of technical experts from the United States Coast Guard and the Ghana Maritime Authority has paid a working visit to the port of Tema as part of an international ship and port facility security code inspection exercise. The visit formed part of ongoing collaborative efforts to strengthen port security systems and enhance Ghana's compliance with international maritime security standards in line with the requirements of the International Port Facility Security Code. During the inspection, the visiting delegation undertook a comprehensive tour of key operational and security installations at the port. The team also inspected operations at the MPS Terminal 3. The delegation was hosted by the Harbour Master of the Port of Tema, Captain Bramwell Tewia, and the Tema Port Security Manager, Kenil Daniel Bonda, who led engagements with port security personnel and operational teams.
We go strictly by the code. Okay. What the code entails, we also comply.
Okay. So the port security you saw there is in charge of the access control. You would have seen the fire and safety person also at the access control.
Okay.
Also to make sure that all PPEs that one needs to wear is there before he enters the port. Before the immigration officers, also at the access control. Matters related to security is shared with the security.
The inspection team is expected to compile its findings and submit a detailed report of observations and recommendations to the Ghana Maritime Authority to further strengthen ISPS code implementation across Ghana's ports. Speaking during the visit, Scott Walland, Chief of Capacity Building and Technical Assistance at the International Port Security Program of the U.S. Coast Guard, said the mission was aimed at facilitating safe, secure, and legitimate trade between Ghana and the United States.
Our visit is part of an ongoing relationship and partnership between the United States Coast Guard and the Ghana Maritime Authority, and working with the Ports and Harbor Authority. And so teams have come from the past, and we've invited a delegation from Ghana, a joint team, to come to the United States and work with the U.S. Coast Guard on a visit to the United States to continue the discussions and to continue to share best practices on implementation of the ISPS code. And so we're looking forward not only to our visit this week, but to hosting a delegation and a team from Ghana to the United States later this year.
He explained that the U.S. Coast Guard works closely with designated ISPS authorities in countries regarded as key maritime trading partners due to the critical importance and sensitivity of the global maritime supply chain. On his part, Mustafa Adama, Principal Officer for Monitoring and Enforcement at the Ghana Maritime Authority, expressed satisfaction with the collaboration, noting that the engagement with GPHA and other port security agencies remains central to Ghana's successful implementation of the ISPS code.
All this is just to make sure that everybody is supposed to do what he is to do. And the Ghana Maritime Port and Harbours Authority have implemented the recommendations. And between 2023 and now, there have been remarkable improvements. But as you say, security, you don't stop, because the women you relax if you are caught unaware. So work still in progress, even though tremendous improvement have been made based on the recommendations that have come out from the joint inspection by the USISPS.
The Director of Takoradi Port, Captain James Richmond Quayson, has expressed strong optimism about the port's prospects for 2026 in a stakeholder engagement held on Thursday, January 8. The cocktail meeting brought together shipping lines, terminal operators, freight forwarders, customs, and regulators to review the port's 2025 performance and outline strategies for growth in a relaxed setting. Captain Quayson said operational reforms at the Atlantic Terminal have significantly improved productivity, with ship-to-shore crane performance increasing from about 8 containers per hour to nearly 50 containers per hour after equipment upgrades.
We are trying to put up a lot of space in the port by way of sheds for transit cargo. We are working on it. Procurement of new equipment, we are working on it. We've been engaging ATSL, and for them, they are also up to the game. When I took over office, we realized that their ship-to-shore ratio was very low. They were doing about 8 containers per hour, which is no. We do them all, they have fixed their equipment, and they are doing about 15 containers per hour, which is still low. But we're giving them up to March this year to bring in more equipment to deliver the vessels.
He also shared the port's 2024 to 2025 performance figures, where bauxite exports rose by 25%, clinker traffic increased by 21%, and overall cargo throughput grew from over 9.4 million tons in 2024 to more than 10.3 million tons in 2025. The director of ports said Takoradi is well positioned to support government 24-hour economic policy and remains committed to strengthening its role as a strategic logistics hub in Ghana's Western Corridor.
His Excellency the President has said many times that the port must do well, and when he was launching the anchor slogan, the anchor thing for his campaign, the 24-hour economy, he mentioned the port. We in Takoradi, we have engaged, we are ready to deliver 24 hours, but it's the volumes. So when the volumes pour in, when we have the volumes, we will deliver 24 hours. 24 hours to create more jobs.
Management of the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority has officially bid farewell to Denise Bado Dauda, the outgoing Ghana representative of the Burkina Faso Shippers Council, following her promotion to Director General of the Council. Madam Denise Bado Dauda will now serve from the Council's headquarters in Ouagadougou. The brief ceremony was marked by goodwill messages and appreciation for her dedication and professionalism in strengthening business relations between Ghana's ports and shippers from Burkina Faso, as well as other stakeholders within the port and logistics chain.
You are welcome to GPHA. This is your own home. But today, you have come here in a different form, in a grand form. Ooh. So we want to welcome you, Thank you in that sense. But they've asked us, myself, my brother, GM Risk, who's also in charge of transit, and my good friend, Mr. Laliban, who is GPH's former ambassador to Burkina Faso. I've been asked to welcome you this afternoon and then show our appreciation to you.
On m'a choisi arranger et puis aussi guider ce qui est un transit vers Ouagadougou, vers Mali et vers Niger. Donc, je vais beaucoup travailler encore avec vous.
In her remarks, the accomplished bilingual expressed gratitude to the authority and the people of Ghana for their support and cooperation during her tenure and called for even stronger collaboration between the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority and the Burkina Faso Shippers Council.
Je disais que je vous remercie de m'avoir reçu ce soir pour vous dire au revoir et je voudrais aussi vous souhaiter une très bonne année et à Monsieur le Directeur Général et à Monsieur le Président du Conseil d'administration des ports qui a été à Ouagadougou avec nous et à tous les collaborateurs de GAPUA.
The ceremony reaffirmed the strong trade and transit partnership between Ghana and Burkina Faso, anchored on the ports of Tema and Takoradi as critical gateways for Burkina Faso's international trade.
All right, welcome back. So those were happenings in the port and shipping industry over the last week. We are now going to take our word or phrase of the day. Remember, the word or phrase of the day has been fashioned to bring you up to speed with the terminologies and jargons we use in the shipping industry. Today's word, new castle marks. New castle marks.
A Newcastle Max is a very large dry bulk carrier built to the maximum size that can safely enter and load at the port of Newcastle in Australia, one of the world's biggest coal export terminals. Typically around 200,000 to 210,000 deadweight tons, with maximum length and beam near port limits, these vessels mainly haul bulk cargoes like coal and iron ore.
And for the health and safety tip for this week, we're talking to you about fire sprinkler system. Fire sprinkler system.
Fire sprinkler system. A fire sprinkler system is an active fire protection method consisting of a water supply system providing adequate pressure and flow rate to a water distribution piping system to which fire sprinklers are connected. Used only in factories and large commercial buildings, systems for homes and small buildings are now in use. Fire sprinkler systems are extensively used worldwide, with over 40 million sprinkler heads fitted each year.
All right, so we are zooming into our discussion proper tonight. Tonight, we're taking a look at the GRA's new VAT reforms and what that portends for businesses and consumers in the year 2026. This took effect from the 1st of January this year, 2026. And so we are privileged to have some guests from the Ghana Revenue Authority to shed more light on the new reforms that the authority has embarked on and what that means for businesses and for consumers like you and I. And so I'm privileged this evening to introduce to us Mr. Thomas T.K. Agozo. He's head Domestic Tax Revenue Division Free Zones Office. He's no stranger to Iron Port. He's been here before. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Thank you very much for having us.
Awesome. And also with us in the studios tonight, Mr. David Latte Kwakupum. He is the Chief Revenue Officer and Coordinator, Domestic Tax Revenue Division, Projects Ghana Revenue Authority. Good evening, sir, and welcome.
Good evening.
All right, so absolutely. And I think it would not be out of place to say a Happy New Year to both of you.
Happy New Year.
Absolutely. Happy returns.
Sure. So let me begin with Mr. Agozo and find out from you the primary goals of the new tax reforms, which began on the 1st of January this year. And what is it about?
Yes. So maybe before I go straight to your question, you know, VAT had been with us for the past 27 years.
Yes.
And we saw a complete overhaul in 2023. Mm. And since then, we have had several amendments done to the law.
Right.
Yes, so some of these amendments have actually affected the structure and the design of the tax. Mm. And of course, with the VAT, if there's no efficiency embedded in it, it opens up for non-compliance. So we have seen over the years that the VAT gap had been going up. It is estimated that the VAT gap in Ghana is about 60%.
Right, wow.
What that means is that we are able to collect only about 60 or 40% or so of the potential revenue from the VAT. Mm. And so the complication in the introduction of some of these levies and decoupling the levies from the main VAT regime made prices of goods and services to be going up. Mm. So that, of course, was not very comfortable with anyone. Somewhere last year, the minister decided that there's a need for us to introduce some efficiency.
At the finance minister?
The finance minister.
Right.
To the VAT regime. Mm. And so that resulted in a complete overhaul again, or what we say comprehensive reform of the VAT. Right. So what the minister is seeking to do, or the law sought to do, is to review the Act 870,
right,
and then consolidate all the previous amendments that were introduced to make the law very certain to everyone. And then we are certain that with these changes, we may improve collection and improve domestic tax mobilization.
What do you have in mind, bringing the new reforms from 40%? Where do you want to get to? Or what do you think you'd like? What do you think you will
Okay,
achieve?
so I'll take you to the expectation of the Minister of Finance in respect of the tax to GDP ratio.
Right.
You know, the general tax to GDP ratio is around 13%. And what we are looking at now is about 16%. And that means that we need to target the VAT, which has the potential to rake in significant amount of domestic tax revenue because the gap is huge compared to all other taxes. So our expectation is to close it as much as possible. If not, we should be having a gap of about 20%, I think, if reform works well.
I think it's profound that we are able to do only 40% out of 100% and 60% no more for Muhwedi. Is that not the case?
Yes. So it's also because we have a tall list of exemptions. You know, most countries are trying to review the exemption. The longer or the list of exemptions, it also means that you're also taking away from the potential revenue. So it's not only non-compliance generally, but there's a need to also review some of these exemptions. So you notice recently, some of these exemptions comes with sunset clause. So it enables government over a short time to review whether the exemption really are making impact on the economy, and then we proceed. So maybe that would be the posture going forward to also reduce the exemptions list.
Awesome. Let me come to Mr. Kwakupum and find out from you how these reforms actually align with Ghana's broader economic objectives for the year 2026.
Thank you very much. So, for the year 2026, government seeks to shore up revenue to highest level it can.
Yes.
And if you look at the tax system as it is now, we have a situation where, so as it is prior to the coming into effect of the new act,
yes,
we had a situation where we had a sort of cascading tax effective rate to the extent that we got to about 21.9% of the tax in effect when you make purchases and you make payments.
Right.
Then you have that. So government seeks to bring that down. And we are looking at it in the current system to be around 20%.
Okay.
Okay, the 20% is just a cumulative of the various taxes that come under the indirect tax, especially related to the VAT.
Right.
So it's the VAT and the levies as it is. Now, this is also as a result of abolishing the COVID-19 health recovery levy,
right,
which is something that probably has outlived its usefulness for the purposes of which it was introduced.
Yes.
Okay. So the changes then are expected to boost business growth. That businesses will have that kind of reprieve to be able to develop and to improve on their activities, because the tax rate effective would have come down,
right,
and also there will be a reduction in the operational costs, as well as an increase in competitiveness, which is very, very important for businesses to thrive.
Right.
And then you also look at a situation where, like we're saying, to enhance revenue mobilization.
Right.
Because this new tax reform is expected to enhance tax compliance. Because we've certainty, as my colleague had mentioned earlier on, with certainty in the tax that you are paying, with the reduction in the effective rate, and then with other measures put in place, compliance is expected to go high, and then the tax base is also expected to be expanded. So this, in line with government direction, give reprieve to taxpayers across board, both businesses and consumers, and then also enhance revenue mobilization.
Right.
Generally.
Okay, so there's also Act 1151, that's the VAT Act 2025.
Sure.
Yes. Why was it necessary, and what does it seek to cure?
Okay, so Act 1151, that is a VAT Act 2025.
Yes.
Basically seeks to harmonize, like my colleague said earlier on, harmonize the various tax handles that are related to VAT.
Right.
Now, you realize that in practice, under the previous regime, we had the taxes that had been decoupled, the levies that have been decoupled from the VAT.
Yes.
And we have, he mentioned again, various amendments that are taking place. And all these sometimes confuse even the tax officials.
Yeah.
How much more the taxpayers?
Absolutely.
So in the wisdom of the Minister of Finance and the government of the day, they have decided that, look, let's get something that is very simple to operate, very straight to the point. There will be no ambiguities as to whatever you are dealing with.
Right.
And in so doing, we bringing down what is the complexity in the previous regime, as well as the fragmentations. All those things are being harmonized to attain the certainty that we are looking at.
Yes.
Then again, we are looking at the bringing down the cascading effect, which I mentioned earlier on, from because of the various arrangements in the computation of the taxes.
Yes.
You have a cascading effect that leads it to about a 21.9% effective tax rate. This time, it's going to come down to the 20% as the expectation goes. Again, there were flat rate regimes in the previous tax arrangement. These are being taken out. These are being taken out to ensure fairness, because under those tax flat rate regimes, there are businesses who may not register. There are others who register but are not able to really place themselves in the regime that is applicable to them.
Right.
And all kind of maneuvers are being done. Businesses try to go around the tax. So when certainty is ensured in this new arrangement, all these issues are expected to be done away with,
right.
especially when we know that the COVID-19 is taken off.
Yeah.
And then people are sure that this is what we are doing. And then the recoupling, recoupling of the levies into the VAT arrangement.
Yes.
Okay, so then you also have we want to curb the incidence of the low tax compliance. The low tax compliance. Because of the old system had high compliance costs, especially for small businesses.
Yes.
So the Act then wants to make sure that we have reduced the effective rate, remove the COVID, as we have mentioned, recouple the GET fund and then the National Health Insurance Levy,
right.
into the VAT,
right.
and then remove out the flat rates. Those things are also gone. This is expected to lead to an increment in registration.
Yes.
You also realize that the threshold for registration has been increased.
Right.
And that is also an incentive to ensure that we are able to have a full grasp of businesses that are expected to be in the VAT arrangement and the VAT regime accordingly.
Okay. All right. So he mentioned, you mentioned decoupling. Now he also mentioned recoupling. Let's pause and take some education on that. Decoupling and recoupling. Okay. When you say that to the layman, what does that mean?
Okay, so the previous act, the traditional VAT that we had the levies embedded in it.
Right.
What it means is that even though the VAT rate is 15%,
yes,
we also had the GET fund levy and the National Health Insurance levy, all a part of the rate. So what it means is that when you take the price of the item, you charge the rates, each of the items I mentioned, on the same value. But what happened? So that is the decoupling. Okay.
Right. Right.
No, that was the recoupling at the time.
Okay.
Now, the amendments that followed resulted in decoupling.
Okay.
That is to say that the levies do not have the same characteristics as the main VAT again.
Right.
So in practice, what we do is to charge the levies first on the prices and then build up the cost before imposing the VAT.
Right.
So what it means, as we kept saying, that it resulted in cascading effect is that we're taxing VAT on the various levies.
Right.
So what we are seeking to do now is to break them again and put them together, like we say, recouple, so that the VAT and the levies will have the same characteristics. Now, the main impact of this recoupling will enable businesses to now claim input on those levies.
Yes.
In the past, a few years back, you cannot.
Yes.
So that means that all the levies that were charged became business costs.
Right.
So effectively, the business, they are not for that Christmas, so they will end up transferring those costs to all of us.
Right.
So maybe a bit of education is also that when it comes to VAT, the traditional VAT, it does not affect business decision.
Right.
If you decide to set up a business, your focus will be on markups and how to manage your costs, but not the VAT. Because the VAT is supposed to be transferred to the final consumer.
Right.
So all the VAT you have incurred as a business, you're expected to take them back in accounting for your output. Unfortunately, when it was decoupled, it meant that the levies have now become a business cost. And so businesses have to now take that as part of their cost of production.
Right.
And then also, so effectively, that is what the coupling and the decoupling is. It made everything more expensive than ever before.
Right. Yes, Mr. Kwakupom, you mentioned that the threshold, the threshold for registration had been increased. What was the situation before, and what is it currently?
Okay, thank you very much. So so at the point prior to the reforms, the threshold for registration, which even in that sense was across board for all businesses that had to register for VAT, was 200,000 per annum.
Right.
So you could break it down into the various periods, either quarterly, half year, or even Well, so half year, or even daily, you could do a computation to determine how much value of sales you make over the period, which then determine that you should be registered or not.
Yeah.
And so this, over the years, from 2013 down the line, it has not changed. But we know market changes have happened in the market.
Absolutely.
Values have gone up. And so when you look at it against interest rate and then exchange rate and all those things, you realize that it has almost become peanuts.
Yeah.
I think someone did a valuation that is looking at it in real terms as at the time of the new introduction of VAT to be about 48,000. Okay, so it means that woefully low, which meant that very small businesses were all supposed to be registered for VAT.
Right.
And that was a challenge because of the largely informal system that we are running.
Absolutely.
So in estimating the current conditions and looking at the trend over a period, again, the computation gave an idea of some threshold, realistic threshold in the region of 850,000 to about 1 million. Yeah. So the government, in its wisdom, looked at it and didn't want to start at the highest level, wanted to get things to roll gradually.
Absolutely.
So then it introduces at 750,000 Ghana cedis, meaning that businesses that do not have their turnover up to that level would have to be deregistered. Okay, but there are also provisions for those who will not meet that threshold. There are various arrangements that will put in place for them to be also in the tax bracket because as you and I know, every income that is earned one way or the other must be taxed.
Absolutely.
Yes, and once you have a consumption tax and income tax, we needed to balance the arrangement such that it will serve the best interest of the economy and the best interest of consumers as well.
Absolutely.
So that is the arrangement that has been put in place now, raising the threshold to 750,000 per annum.
Right.
That's right.
Okay, so Mr. Agozo, how will the increase in this threshold registration from 200,000 to 750,000 impact small and medium-sized enterprises?
Okay, so like we said, VAT traditionally works better with medium to large-scale businesses because of the need to do so many things, including keeping records and then accounting properly to the government. Right. And let's also remind ourselves that VAT taxpayers are agents to government. We need to be sure that this group of taxpayers are able to report back to government when it comes to the tax. So having lots more small micro businesses in the VAT regime made compliance extremely difficult. It means that the Revenue Authority has to dedicate a significant number of resources and staff to be following up on these people. And if you review the data, you realize that it is the top big taxpayers who are paying over 90% of the tax. So the research shows that if we are able to take all the small businesses out, we'll still be able to collect the same revenue that we are collecting. So the benefit now for the small business is that the compliance burden has been taken off them so they can focus to grow their business.
Right.
Yeah, there are other tax regimes that are very simple and straightforward for them. But the biggest benefit for them is that the burden of having to do VAT the traditional way had been taken off their head, and they can always focus and grow their business.
Right. Okay, so the implications, Mr. Kwakupum, of abolishing the VAT flat rate scheme for businesses that previously used it, what will happen to them?
Yes, so I did allude to that earlier on, that several other arrangements have been put in place. Yeah, so the implications practically are that if you are no longer eligible to register for VAT,
right?
You won't be deregistered. Okay, so that's the first thing.
Yes.
You will be deregistered if you don't meet the threshold. If you were already on the VAT and you don't meet the threshold, you needed to be deregistered. But then the government, the authority has put in place measures that you not just do a wholesale deregistration. We do a compliance, or we do what you call verification. We verify your position, and then determine whether you will still qualify to be on the standard or not. If you do not qualify, then if you are a business, small business, of course, then you'll be deregistered. If you are an individual, you are put onto the modified taxation scheme, so that then that is where your tax arrangements will all be applicable under that modified taxation scheme. Now, so those qualified will be on the standard. Those who do not qualify, but they are individuals, will be on this. Then we go further to look at, for example, real estate. Real estate developers, they are flat rate. So they are not coming out of the flat rate to come onto the standard. And they also go through the same procedure as have been identified. Furthermore, the implication for them is that if you are on the standard, then you will be qualifying to take the input taxes relating to your purchases into the business. And then also, the input taxes, as have been identified, cannot be taken for more than once. So if you are taking out if you are taking out and you do not need to register at all, then the input tax that you have incurred becomes part of your business costs. And then you have to run it through the standard arrangement to be able to bill your prices to your customers. Okay, then if you have qualified, then you take it as input tax as so it doesn't become part of the cost of your business. And that is very, very important for us. There is also a threshold limit for the deduction of the input tax. So the arrangement is that you have a 6 months period. Now, under the previous regime, those in the flat rate and those operating a flat rate, they are supposed to file returns. Now, in filing their returns, there's a provision for which they must indicate the purchases, the input tax, the taxes to the purchases. Now, if you are doing it, if you were filing your return correctly and indicating those ones, then those goods that you had in stock at the time that the change is taking place, you will be qualified to take them as input tax. Or the input tax relating to those ones, you take them. But if you didn't have it, then it becomes, again, like I said, it rolls down to your cost. But if you also had goods in stock on which you have made tax payment, the VAT payments, but those goods are not beyond, you have not claimed the input tax in your documents, your filing, but they are also not beyond the 6 months threshold period that has been given, then you still qualify to take it as input tax. So you don't add it to the cost of your purchases. It becomes a set aside, which now, when you have done your cost build up, you've done your pricing, you made your sales, they charge the output tax, then you come and deduct that from the output tax before you make the payments of the difference to the GRA accordingly. So that's the implication. Every arrangement has been put in place to ensure that the tax officials will do verification of all these arrangements that have been put in place in order to ensure fairness in the system, and ensure that the taxpayers are not shortchanged as a result of these changes that are taking place.
Awesome.
To just add one point to that, most businesses, I mean, we've had calls that some taxpayers are felt they are below the threshold, so they can elect on their own to be out of the VAT regime. The directive from Commissioner General through the guideline is that you have to wait. So if you are on the flat rates, from 1st January, you are moved onto the standard until the Commissioner General complete the verification process. Yes, we do not base the determination of the turnover on the taxpayer's own records. It has to be Commissioner General certified and verified records. So we need taxpayers to understand that they have to wait until that verification is completed. In fact, we are under pressure now to get that done before the first quarter ends. So until then, all businesses on the flat rate are to remain in the VAT regime until they are moved.
And also to add on to it, you know, the new invoices have not come out yet. Some are out, but the arrangement is that you could still continue to use the old invoice that you had. And that has COVID-19 health recovery levy on it. That field must necessarily be made zero. So that you don't charge it accordingly because it has been abolished. Yes. And then again, for those who are computer generated. There are those who have to link their system to GRA's system.
Right.
Those ones, they have their own system. And so they are expected to convert their system to reflect the current changes in the law,
right,
in the tax regimes or tax handles that have been put in place. But for those who were using a free invoicing system, which is provided by GRA at no cost to them,
right,
they are expected to just carry on because the changes have already been done at GRA's end to reflect in the free invoicing system. So they are expected to carry on straight away using the free invoicing system, which has been configured to reflect the current condition. But if you had your own system and you are plugged in, then you have to do the configuration at your end.
Absolutely.
So such that it matches what we have at GRA.
All right.
So those are the implications again for taxpayers on this.
Okay. Yes. So you mentioned COVID-19, the removal of the COVID-19 levy. I mean, that was a subject of interest to every Ghanaian. I mean, people were crying, said we're in post-COVID era. So why is it still applicable? Why must we? And government promised to do that, and eventually it's been taken off. So what's the implications for prices of goods for consumers?
Yes. So we expect prices to ease. I mean, downwards because. A percentage increase in the VAT rate, it means a lot to all of us, especially for business, because we said that it goes to increase the cost of doing business. And therefore, we, the consumers, we are all beneficiaries now. And I'm sure the first week when the Commissioner General and the management team went out there, there was indication that the levies have been taken off the invoices, and that reflected the reduced prices. So it's good for all of us.
Awesome. Now, the NHIL, Mr. Kokupum, and the GET fund levies were recoupled with VAT. I just want to find out from you how does allowing input tax credits benefit taxpayers?
Yeah, thank you. Indeed, to a large extent, there's huge benefit in that. Taking it from the basics.
Yes.
The VAT, as my colleague said, and which I have always been saying all over the place, that VAT is not supposed to impact negatively on a business. If you look at the structure as have been put in place, every business adds some amount of value to its costs or its purchases to arrive at its final pricing and products. And therefore, where the tax is imposition is on the value that you have added. That is the more reason why when you make purchases, the law and the administrative arrangement requires that you set aside every tax that you paid on your purchases. Because they are not business costs. Yes, you set it aside, and then when you have done your own normal computations and come up with your price as per your own arrangement, then you charge the tax. In so doing, because you are not the final consumer of that item, you don't bear the tax in any way. The tax is borne by the final consumer. So when you have made your charges on the final consumer, whatever charges then you have paid, you deduct. And only the difference comes to the authority. So allowing this would then lead to input tax credits being taken by the taxpayers. It should reduce the tax burden, basically. Reduce the tax burden, because now you can offset the input taxes on the GET fund and national health insurance levies, as they are now taking on the character of the VAT. So they come along with the VAT as a whole. You know, the earlier situation occurred as a result of a provision in the tax law that requires that if you want to compute the taxable value for VAT, you needed to look at other related taxes and then add them to the cost. Now, this is still there, but this new arrangement changes the structure and puts it in the right perspective for the implementation. Now, if you have this situation and reducing the cost, then obviously your cash flows position should increase because you will not have paid money that is going to lock up on the purchases that you have made. Yes, so cash flow should increase. Then, if that is also the case, we expect that compliance should go up. So these are the effects that we are looking at as we go along on the taxpayers who will now come into the proper regime, and they have the opportunity
Yes.
to take input taxes on the levies as well as the VAT when they make their transactions.
Right. Mr. Agozo, one key constituency as far as tax is concerned, and as far as your work is concerned, is the informal sector. I just want to find out from you what incentives and support does the modified taxation system or scheme offer to informal sector businesses?
Okay, so
as MTS.
Yeah, the MTS. So the GRA rolled out the MTS last year effectively to target the informal sector. We are hoping to rake in more revenue from that. So what has happened is that the process for filing, registering, and payment had been simplified.
Right.
You just dial star 880 hash, and then you are already on it. You're able to just pay or declare your taxes, and that's all. So the modified taxation, let me maybe look at it. They've been categorized into three.
Right.
We have very, very small businesses that will pay by installment. That means that a fixed amount will be charged on them, and that is payable every quarter. Let's say 20 Ghana cedis per hairdresser or something like that. And then we have those who will be paying just 3% of their turnover. These people are taxpayers whose turnover is above 200,000. And so for them, it's still very simple. Once you are registered for that one, you do not have VAT obligation, any other tax obligation, apart from paying 3% of your turnover.
Right.
Then we also have the third category that is supposed to account for their business operation on cash basis. That also has been simplified for them. And for them, they will also do a bit of accounting because they are a bit matured.
Right.
And then they will pay based on graduated rates like we do with the PYE and all of that. So what has happened now is that the MTS is a system developed to simplify the registration and the payment of the taxes for them. So you dial the short code, you are there. And what it has done effectively is that now these small businesses are able to have some formalized processes because the software have a bookkeeping facility for them.
Right.
And so maybe they are able to also present that for their digital loan and those other facilities available for the formal sector. So that is that for the modified tax people.
Right. Now, how is GRA ensuring that micro and informal sector operators are informed and able to comply with the MTS requirements?
So thank you. So for every reform, communication is paramount. Communicating what you are doing and how you are doing it and what people are expected to, how people are expected to comply is very, very important.
Right.
And so at the onset of this, one of the objectives that was set by the Minister of Finance is to have a sustained tax education program. We call it STEP. So this sustained tax education program is structured such that we are looking at a period of 3 years. Within that period of 3 years, we want to be able to send the message of taxation across the length and breadth of Ghana.
Right.
I mean, to every level where it requires, so that all citizens and then persons living within, residents in the country, will be able to have knowledge of the tax issues and tax regimes that are pertaining, and also how to also engage in it, how to partake in it and ensure that it is successful.
Right.
Now, there will be arrangements, or there are various programs that are looking at registration, how to go through the registration procedure. These are obligations of taxpayers in registration. You also have the charging, what the processes of charging, the computations that they are supposed to make. So after charging, you're also looking at the process of filing returns, applying to your level of tax that you are charging. And so those are also there. Then payments as well. He mentioned the SSD payment that is a short code that you can use to make payment. Yes, all these are being sent around to make easy payment. So there's also digitalized payments,
right,
where taxpayers, you don't have to walk into the offices of GRA.
Right.
You have your phone, even what they call the YAM phone. Even when you have you use the USSD, you can make payments accordingly. So that is also what is there. There is also a targeted outreach which looks at markets. So you will find out that our officers from the various tax payer service centers are moving into the various markets to disseminate the information, to make people aware, to help them also to comply. I mean, this regime is not using the stick. We are using the carrot, where we will come to you and then we'll help the taxpayers to appreciate, understand their obligations related to it, and then help them to comply.
Absolutely.
Because once the compliance levels are high, right from the onset, the tax gap is expected to be closed when we are able to make the maximum revenue, and then also we will be able to meet the various obligations that are related to the ministry. So that is there. Processes are simplified. You realize that with the recoupling which we have discussed, it has simplified the process. Again, with collapsing all these, taking off all these other tax, small tax regimes, like the COVID-19 and all those things, we have streamline the tax to be just one, and that is the standard rate.
Yes.
So you either have a standard rate or you have a zero rate. Okay, this is what is operating. Okay. So you have a standard rate, zero rate, or then you are operating exempt, and therefore you don't come into the tax at all. We don't register you. Now the simplified processes, the registration is going on. We also have partners that we are dealing with. Part of it is what we are doing with here now, being able to come onto the various television and radio networks to propagate the message across the state. So others are aware of it. Then awareness campaigns are also going on. And so we're using also the trade groups, associations.
Yes, the GUTA and the rest.
GUTA. And so when they have their meetings, we are scheduling with them so that officers from the GRA will go and have those meetings with them. And then do some sort of sensitization so that we are all in the boat together and move along the same direction.
So
those are things that are going on now.
All right. He says this regime is not using the stick, we are using the carrot. That's quite profound, and that's Mr. David Latekwakupum, Chief Revenue Officer, Coordinator, Domestic Tax Revenue Division, Projects Ghana Revenue Authority, and indeed also in the studios with us, Mr. Thomas T.K. Agozo, Head, Domestic Tax Revenue Division, Free Zones Office, and tonight we're taking a look at the GRA's, that's Ghana Revenue Authority's new VAT reforms, and what they portend or what they mean for businesses and consumers like you and I. We're going to go for a quick break. When we return, we'll continue the discussion. Please do stay with us.
Energy brings you quality choices with Goil Super XP. Available in many Goil stations nationwide. It is fortified with special additives that help your engine perform better and use less fuel. Branch into a Goil station today and energize your ride with Goil Super XP, compatible with most vehicles. Goil Super XP. Wufilia. Huh? Wubefeel. Goil, good energy. Yeah, yeah.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Oga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is. You still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Welcome to today's edition of Serene Insurance Business News. We present to you Serena. You're right. You can complete an entire insurance process for the purchase of any motor and other insurance products, from onboarding to issuing a motor insurance sticker and policy certificate, all on WhatsApp in less than 10 minutes. Serena is simple to use and it prioritizes user ease and flexibility. You can either use voice notes or text to effortlessly issue your instant policy, cross-platform renewals, claims, and also process your payments through mobile money, Visa, and MasterCard. To engage Serena, just search for Serene Insurance on all social media handles and scan the Serena barcode or save her number 0500 517 114 and start chatting her on WhatsApp immediately. There you have it. Serena is not just a tool, it's an innovation by Serene Insurance designed to redefine how motor and travel insurance are accessed and managed. Speed, convenience, and reliability.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
At Phoenix Insurance, we make the unpredictable predictable and the uncertain certain with our range of products, including motor insurance, fire insurance, engineering insurance, marine insurance, accident insurances, and all types of bonds. We have you covered. We also support you with risk management advice to enable you stay focused on your business. Take a policy with Phoenix Insurance today. We help you rise from adversity stronger and more secure. Contact us on 0302 246319 or 0302 246644 or any of our branches, agencies, and brokers spread across the nation. You can as well connect with us on our WhatsApp chatbot. Efiba is waiting to assist you. Make the future predictable with Phoenix Insurance. Phoenix Insurance, a delightful service experience delivered with wisdom.
All right, welcome back. This is Harbours Report once again, and tonight we're taking a look at the GRA's new VAT reforms and what that means for businesses and consumers like you and I. With us in the studios, like I said, we have Mr. David Latte Kwakupom, who is the Chief Revenue Officer and Coordinator, Domestic Tax Revenue Division Projects at the Ghana Revenue Authority, and indeed Mr. Thomas T.K. Agozo, who is Head Domestic Tax Revenue Division, Free Zones Office. They are the two experts we have in the studios to help us unpack and decode the new VAT reforms of the GRA and what you should be doing if you're a business owner, you own a business, and you are liable to, pay VAT. If you are in the informal sector, there's something for you. I'm sure you heard them, and how you can pitch in and then help so that we can groom Mother Ghana and help the GRA to do their work. And so if we have all these beautiful plans, these beautiful things done, and there's sensitization, there's education, and we don't enforce, it's efforts wasted. How is the GRA going to ensure that we have, to monitor and comply, monitor and enforce compliance?
Okay, so thank you very much once again. So yes, monitoring is key.
Before you continue, Mr. Agozo, I've been told by the production team that we can activate the phone lines now for viewers to call in. If you have any questions bothering you or any questions that my guests would want my guests to clarify, please, the number is right on your screen, 0245834980, 0245834980. I've seen tons of your messages as well. I shall be sharing them with the rest of the world and, eliciting some responses from my guests for you in a jiffy. But for now, you can make that call if you have any questions for my guests. Yes, sir.
Okay, so as part of the efforts of the government and the GRA to make the VAT implementation more effective is the full implementation of the electronic VAT invoicing scheme.
Right.
That system means that the GRA is able to have in real-time monitoring of all business transactions that are covered under the VAT.
Right.
There's also plan, we are working on that, to introduce the EPOS, which is the electronic POS regime that will be available to all businesses, small, big, so that now GRA will have direct insight into what is happening in the economy. But you see, this is not very effective if we do not, we all do not support the process. We all must be vigilant and perform our civic responsibilities to demand the invoices.
Absolutely.
You see, it's difficult for the law to say that if you fail to demand invoice, you will be sanctioned.
Not to cut you, sir. You continue from there. I'm sorry for affecting your flow, but we'll come back. Let's go and welcome Philip from Tema on the lines. Good evening, sir.
Hello. Good evening. Yes. So my question is, regarding this new amendment, most especially regarding free zones. So in the previous act, provision of services to free zone entities was zero rated. And so we had free zone entities submitting the Form 9 document as evidence that they're actually from the free zone. Now, with this current act, the act has specifically limited the zero rating of free zones to just the provision of goods. Now, my question is, with regards to the Form 9 that they used to produce, in that respect, is it now in this context invalid or unacceptable? Since now provision of services to free zones is now taxable.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much. Mr. Agozo will take that. You are from the prison office.
So yes, there have been a bit of clarity brought in the new act concerning the zero rating of free zone supplies. I mean, supply from the domestic market to the free zones. The previous law, there was no specific provision for zero rating of services to the free zones.
Right.
But the law, the way the law was couched, meant that the Commissioner General has to clarify that it was part, the service provision was part of it. But this law had clearly exempted services from the domestic market to the free zones. It's no more at zero rate, so it will be taxed at the standard rate.
Right.
So what he's asking is if the Form 9 that the free zone operators used to complete to waive, to grant them that dispensation is still valid. I will say that the Form 9 for GRA was meant to make the taxable activity at standard rate zero rated.
Yes.
So it's really not relevant as far as the GRA operation is concerned. But there's a regulator, Ghana Free Zones Authority, and if you look at their SOPs, it means that you need to fill certain forms. So we need to engage with the Free Zones Authority to really come clearly whether the Form 9 is still relevant as far as service provision is concerned.
Awesome. Yeah. All right, let's go all the way to Tamale and welcome Abdul Razak. Good evening, sir. Yes, Mr. Razak.
Yes, sir.
Kaula.
So,
Gombiani.
I want to ask a question.
Absolutely, please do. Yes, please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, please. I wanted to find out, I'm a service provider. I've been servicing air conditions, plumber works.
Right.
So now, with the new tax system, how are we going to, when we are preparing our invoices, how are we going to, is it going to be something like 20% or 4%, or how are we going? That's what I wanted to find out.
Flat rate currently.
Are you on the flat rate currently?
Yeah, I'm on VAT rate.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. I think they will take it, yeah. Mr. Kwakupen, would you come in here, please?
Thank you very much. Just like it existed, the Act 870 and its amendments created the situation using the threshold where certain service providers would have fallen into the flat rate operation.
Right.
Yeah. As it is now, with the current act, that is the Value Added Tax Act 2025,
Yes,
Act 1151, you are all within, once you qualify per the threshold, you are registered under the VAT, we are all using one rate, and that is the 15% for VAT, 2.5% for Get Fund, and then 2.5% for National Health Insurance Levy, which is accumulated to 20%.
Right.
And that is a standard for everyone who is registered under VAT. So, and the application is that you then also qualify to take input tax credit on the purchases that you make into the business. So as it is from this question, clearly, if it falls within the threshold and is registered under VAT, then it applies that it will use the standard rate. There's no flat rate anymore. So he will use the standard rate for his for charging and accounting and paying for the taxes accordingly.
Okay. All right. So with a revenue target of 225 billion for 2026, I just want to find out from you how realistic this is, given the economic conditions and reform opposition.
Yes, it's very tricky, but our Commissioner General had made promise in his engagement with the media that we are working seriously around the clock to make sure we meet that target. The good thing is that the reform, even though it has given away so much, the whole analysis showed that it has a neutral effect because there will be stimulation of the economy, business will grow, and then GRA will collect more. So we are very hopeful that we'll be able to meet the revenue targets by the end of the year.
All right. So what early signs have been observed about the reforms impact on prices, consumer spending, and business activities, Mr. Kwakupon?
So thank you. So the new tax took effect from 1st January. And I remember our Commissioner General and top management went around visiting some of the shops in Accra, especially the heavy industrial areas, to ascertain the performance.
Yes.
And all intents and purposes, one, the most important thing is that we having able to configure, those shops having able to configure their systems to meet the current trend.
Right.
And most of them had it. And then, therefore, that means that they are charging the tax as per the current arrangement.
Right.
And if they are doing that, then we're quite certain that the taxes or the revenues should flow from that.
Right.
Okay, so that is the main arrangement. Basic assessments will come up at the end of January, or when January's returns are being filed. They will have an idea of how much this is. But then, for compliance purposes, we have noticed that this is happening. And because we have also already configured our system, the free invoicing system, then all businesses that are on it are automatically expected to be charging using the current rate.
Right.
So there shouldn't be much difficulty. The only areas will be when we are able to quickly assess taxpayer activity to ensure that those who do not qualify per the threshold are put at the positions where they are supposed to be if you have to be deregistered or be transformed into the modified taxation system, which is also a very, very critical aspect.
Absolutely.
Then we are doing it. But so far, I should say that's so good, so much better than, and we are expecting much more from taxpayers. They need to come on board and partner with us to grow this economy and make sure that the revenues are being taken and accounted for accordingly.
Absolutely. Let's go to the Eastern Regional Capital, Kufrodri, and welcome Yabua. Good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening.
Absolutely. Please shoot.
What I want to find out from the panelists is that they are saying that those under 730,000 the threshold, they are supposed to pay standard rate. But what about if my business is under 300,000, 400,000, which is below the standard rate? So is it because we pay zero rate, or are supposed to pay to 20%?
Did you get the question?
They have lower turnover.
Yes.
Turnover. Oh, okay, yeah. So
thank you very much indeed, Yabua. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yabua. So yes, that is the difficulty that we have to manage in the transition period. It takes the GRA to establish the true liability and turnovers of taxpayers, especially in the small business environment, because we do not have any other means of independently verifying unless this work is undertaken. So they should hold on. In fact, if you realize that GRA is delaying in coming out to review your system, you can elect to apply for Commissioner General to review. So if you are in a hurry, please write to the tax office and request for the assessment to be done early enough for you to either exit or be moved onto the standard rate effectively.
All right, great. From Eastern Region, I will come back. From Eastern Region, let's go to the Central Region and welcome Michael. Good evening, sir.
Hello, sir. Good evening.
Yes,
so
sir.
Please, I have 3 questions. The first one is, what is the treatment for companies that
Okay. You sent in a message earlier. I was taking that, but once you have called in, please go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
yes,
thank
yes,
you.
yes, right.
So what's the treatment for companies who are exempted from paying VAT, like companies that transact with some companies that are in mining support services that transact with companies like Newmont, and there will be also with the I have valid invoice of purchases invoice of 3%, which I haven't claimed in the past 5 months. So what if I may be claiming it in February with a February return at the end of February? How if with a new reform, is there going to be a new form, kind of VAT return, and would the 3% portion still be available? Yes.
Okay.
And the third one is, please throw more light on VAT credits and how it will be treated in the new VAT reform.
That's a pregnant one. Thank you very much indeed, Michael. We're grateful to you. Thank you. I think that's all that time will permit us with respect to the calls, because we have tons of messages here that you also need to respond to. So please, you can, oblige Mike.
Let me see what. So he talked about companies that are exempted from the VAT. What's the tax treatment? Usually we do not exempt companies. We exempt goods and services. So for companies, individuals, or what we call persons, is relief that the law provides for.
Right.
And the law had taken care of all these persons who are already enjoying the relief.
Right.
I think the biggest hit for us is the exploration in the exploration and reconnaissance that the law had made clearly a taxable activity now. That means that for all such exploratory activities, once you pay a VAT on your input, you'll be relieved. You'll be required to request for a refund, and the Commissioner General, if he's satisfied, may grant you. So that is the biggest hit as far as that is concerned. I think if you want to take one.
For the 3% valid purchase invoices, the claiming.
Yes.
Yeah, obviously, I think I mentioned it earlier on, probably you might not have tuned in at that time. But basically, what the provisions have made, the transitional arrangement, is that first and foremost, under the flat rate scheme, you were supposed to, when you are filing your return, indicate this on your returns.
Right.
Okay, so if you have indicated them as purchases on your returns, then, and the law provides that they should fall within a 6 months period. So in that case, it's on your return, it falls within the 6 months period, you can claim it as input tax. So there's no ambiguity about that.
Absolutely.
The second aspect of it is that if it falls within a 6 months period, but you have not indicated on your return, you still have the opportunity, once it is a valid input tax claim, to claim it when you are filing your returns.
Right.
So all those 3% input taxes that have been incurred are not done away with. Unless they go beyond the stipulated period of 6 months.
Right.
That one, then you cannot do anything about that.
Okay.
But when they fall within,
Yes.
you can claim them using the normal tax return.
Right.
Yes, indeed, there's a new tax return which will encompass all these arrangements.
Absolutely.
And you can put it on accordingly and claim it as the time goes on.
Great. Okay.
It's important to also add that these backdated invoices that he's talking about should have stock backing it.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a need for us to know
Right.
that you have stock to support that before
Okay.
it will be allowed.
All right.
He asked for withholding VAT.
Yes.
I think the slightest change in the withholding VAT arrangement is that taxpayers will no longer claim it as input on the return. It will rather be credited to their ledger. So
Right.
what it means is that when you suffer withholding VAT, it will be accounted for by the withholder.
Right.
And then that will be in the GRA system. It will be credited to your account.
Right.
So the new VAT form that will come will not have a field for you to include that on the return.
Right.
And so that is what we want the public to know.
Okay. This one says...
I think there was something on the credit treatment.
Which one?
Credit treatment, VAT.
That's a
treatment.
VAT VAT withholding.
Okay,
Yes.
so that's okay.
This one says, greetings. This is Cornelius Fineboy at Qatar, La Paz. What's GRA doing about double taxation, just like the tax stamps on both imported drinks and local drinks, because we pay port duties before paying the stamp tax as well. If I haven't worked with my company certificate before and want to start now, what's the way forward?
The tax stamp duties. Yeah, as far as GRA is concerned, you can only pay tax that is designated.
Yes.
So if the tax, when it comes to excise, excise will have certain taxes imposed for the purposes of the excise activity.
Right.
And those ones will be charged ex-factory, and then those stamps will be affixed and you are paying accordingly. So that one, there is no issue with it.
Okay.
It will continue to operate as per the arrangement that has been put in place. Except that, of course, at the end of the day, those taxes, as excise taxes, will be accounted for as per their own arrangement.
Sure.
And then the VATs also will be accounted for as per its own arrangement.
Right.
So there is no ambiguity in there is no mixture in this arrangement as we see
All right.
it. Yes.
Wilson sent in this one. He says, please, does the threshold apply to the services industry, small consultancy services, etc.?
Okay, so clearly this law is a complete departure from the old regime where the threshold was applicable to both goods and services. This threshold is limited to the goods. It means that all service providers become eligible for VAT registration.
Yeah.
But of course, GRA, Commissioner General would have to also be sure that you meet certain other conditions to be registered.
Yes.
So that assessment will be done by the GRA, but all service providers have to put themselves in readiness to register. In fact, the directive is that between the first 1 month, 30 days of the coming to force of the VAT Act, you need to get yourself registered. All those who were not registered previously.
Right. Okay. Yes.
Let me quickly add something. You see, the registration and the deregistration as we are talking about.
Yes.
There is this provision that requires, you may be deregistered, but you will also have the opportunity to do voluntary registration.
Okay.
If for one reason or the other, probably you are trading with persons who require tax invoices, then, and maybe you are under the threshold, you are below, so you cannot register.
Absolutely.
You have that opportunity to do voluntary registration and still operate the standard system as have been put in place.
Let me take a last message. It's from Kojo and Tema. He's a freight forwarder. He says, good evening, Iron Port. Does this mean clearing agents and small logistics firms no longer need to register for VAT if we are below 750,000 Ghana cedis turnover? There are a lot, but this is the last one we'll take and then we'll wrap up. We have barely 5 seconds to go.
Okay. So yes, you will be registered. The threshold does not apply to service providers. It means that all service providers are required to register for VAT. So your obligation is to request for the registration, and the Commissioner General will determine whether you should be registered or not. Yeah.
Right, awesome. Thank you very much. Indeed, that's Mr. Thomas T.K. Agozo Head Domestic Tax Revenue Division, Free Zones Office, and indeed Mr. David Latekwa Kupumi, who is Chief Revenue Officer, Coordinator, Domestic Tax Revenue Division, Projects GRA. And tonight we'll be taking a look at the Ghana Revenue Authority's new VAT reforms and what that portends, or what that means for businesses and consumers alike. I would like to say a big thanks to you, Cess, for making time and coming to enlighten and educate us on your new VAT reforms. We believe that, yes, the effort you are making is not going to go in vain. All of us will have to pitch in and then help you succeed. We thank you so much, viewers, for making a date with us once again. We entreat you to keep watching the rest of our programs here on Metro TV. And God willing, next week, we shall bounce back with another wonderful edition of your favorite Iron Pot. But remember to tune in on Wednesday to GTV at 8:30 p.m. for the abridged version of Iron Pot on GTV. And so thank you so much. We say a big thanks once again to our sponsors, Ghana Revenue Authority, Well PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, MPS, and indeed Phoenix Insurance. My name is Kennedy Mona. We wish you a super week ahead. May God bless you for choosing us. And God willing, like I said, we'll bounce back next week. God bless, no less. We are out.